My name is Brittany.
I'm Christy.
And we have Cooper filming. Today we're presenting on apostrophes
And quotation marks.
First off, we're going to start with apostrophes. Apostrophes have three main purposes. One is to show possession. The second purpose is to make single letters plural. And the third purpose is to show contractions.
The first example we're going to talk about is possession. Now here's an example of a word that shows possession. Dogs. So here's this word in a sentence. The dog's collar was red. This shows that the collar belonged to the dog, and therefore you add an apostrophe S to show the possession.
The second purpose of apostrophes is to show plural of letters and numbers. Take this sentence for example. 5s and 10s is going to be shown plural just by putting an apostrophe in. The second example of showing plural in letters is the sentence that follows. Todd told me to mind my P's and Q's.
But why is the apostrophe there?
Well, Christy, that's a good question. P's and Q's have apostrophes because they are plural for pleases and thank yous.
The third and final purpose of apostrophes is contraction. Here's a couple examples of some contractions. Don't refers to do not. Won't refers to will not. It refers to it is. And can't refers to cannot.
I thought cannot was 2 words. Why isn't it?
Well, that's a very good question. Now, everyone likes to spell cannot as 2 words. But the correct way is to spell it as 1 word. So remember that in your future writing.
Well, kids, that's our conclusion on our presentation of apostrophes.
We'll be right back with more on quotation marks after a brief message from our sponsors.
Still Snoop Dogg and D.I. Guess who's back? Still doing that shit, Andre? Oh, for sure.
Hey, what up, Brittany?
Hey, Christy.
Hey, have you tried any of this grammar drink?
No.
It boosts your grammar abilities and it gives you brains.
Oh my gosh.
Hell yeah.
Let me try it. Oh my gosh! I want to go do my English homework!
Grammar drink.
Not for the weak-minded.
The second part of our presentation is on quotation marks.
In this portion of the presentation, we hope to cover all the uses of quotation marks and clear any confusion you may have about them. The simplest use of quotation marks is for titles. For example, civil disobedience, because it's a title, it's going to have the quotation marks.
The next thing we're talking about is direct quotes, spoken or written, for the use of quotation marks. So, a time you would use quotation marks is when you are writing what another author has previously said in their work. So, if you are in your paper saying that blank says, quote, it was raining, end quote, then you would use the parentheses to show where you're quoting the author.
Can you clarify the punctuation rules for quotation marks?
I'm glad you asked, Brittany. That is very confusing. So, for example, if you want to put a period inside or ending the sentence inside the quotation marks, the period, it goes inside the quotation marks, or a comma goes inside the quotation marks at the end. So blank says, comma, it was raining, period, and the quotes after the period. Another part of this is quoting spoken words. So if your mother always tells you to study hard, you would write says, comma, quote, study hard, period, end quote. And that's it for this section.
Authors often include scare quotes in their writing.
Scare quotes? That sounds an awful lot like scarecrows. What does that mean?
Well, Christy, it's scare quotes. And authors often use this. It's what you consider part of sarcasm. They don't often buy into the meaning of what the word is that is in quotation. Take, for example, this sentence. They are considered normal people. What the author is referencing to is the group that he or she is talking about may not be so normal, so he puts it in quotation marks just as a bit of sarcasm to his writing. Scare quotes are a lot like air quotes that we often use when we're talking.
Another time that we use quotation marks in our writing from time to time is if we're quoting a phrase. So for example, if I had a phrase that said, she was keeping it real, then I would quote, keeping it real, because it's a phrase that we don't normally use, or it's a little bit of slang, but that's why we put it in quotation marks.
The final portion of our presentation will be on both
apostrophes
and quotation marks.
So buckle up for this wild ride.
Take, for instance, if you're interviewing someone and they mention a quote in their statement and you want to add that to your paper, this is how you would do it. She stated, comma, you would use, I was inspired when I heard them chant, Obama, Obama. This being your apostrophe because that is what someone else was saying. Also notice that the apostrophe is going to be outside of the period and also is your quotation marks.
So this concludes our presentation on
Apostrophes
and quotation marks.
Hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Peace out.
Roll the credits.